what's in your mind, for you and for I. I'm trying to decide from the look in your eyes, yeah. I mean besides, but you
do that shit on air, baby.
Okay.
Do that shit on air.
All right, let's get it.
All right. Fuck yeah, dude.
Back, episode 2.
Here we are.
We got a new thing of alcohol today.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, who doesn't really sponsor us, but we just like to drink their shit. Cerveza Dos Equis Lager Especial. I'd like to give a big thank you to Dos Equis for inebriating us and giving us the time of our lives.
He said podcast. Inebriating. I don't know if that's a word.
It's cool. Hey, you guys can fact check me later.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, man? What's episode 2?
Episode 2, man. Holy shit. Dude, can you believe we're on episode 2?
I can't believe it.
I seriously can't believe it. Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding. Episode 2. Man, dude, it's dope too because we did it exactly a week ago today. Now we're just already fucking going off again.
That's dope.
I don't know. I wanted to talk about, because we talked about execution in the last episode, and I was like, okay, I think executing doesn't have as much importance and significance unless you're executing towards a goal.
Okay.
So I wrote down a couple things, and I just wanted to talk about the importance of goal setting.
Yeah.
And of course, like, the fucking power list is going to come back into this, and we're going to be talking about, like, the vision board and all this crazy shit. But I mean, just to touch on the importance of goal setting personally to me, I set small, mid, and large scale goals every single day. So like, as you know, the power list, today I had a list of things that I had to do that involved doing things with everything from like things to my day job that I do. And then also doing things with this, like with the podcast, Ryan Ramirez, music industry, all that shit. But when I set goals, I feel like I have a clearly defined path, and it makes my execution way easier because I know that I'm not just executing for nothing.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not taking action that isn't well thought out. So I feel like you're the man to talk to when it comes to goal setting and shit.
Both of us.
Well, you got me like onto the, well, actually, shout out to Rob Guadarrama, who got me onto the vision board. I don't know if he introduced you to the vision board or whatever, but he helped me with the vision board, which we'll talk about. And then also, like, you just pushed me like a motherfucker to like write down goals, achieve them, and be consistent and shit. So like, talk about the importance of setting goals.
Well, I think in the first place, just to have a roadmap, right? As close as you can for what you want to be, because it's one thing just to talk about what you want to do, and you're like, wow, I just want to be this huge star, this huge manager. What does that look like? Like, you can think that all day, but unless you have as close as you can to a plan or a roadmap to make that happen, it's not really, it's almost unrealistic at that point. It's almost unattainable. But when you kind of break it down day by day, to start off with big goals, to know exactly what you want, because I think that's the most important part. Like, what do you want? Like, the more crystal clear you are with what you want, I think the more of a chance that you have to get it. And if you can actually find, I learned this from Tony Robbins, if you find 1 or 2 people that you can model, then that makes it that much more clear and more attainable. And it's just like, it's just more bound to happen. So I think, so model someone, have a crystal clear idea of what you want to be, and then break it down. What does your year look like, and what does your month look like, and what does your day-to-day look like? What does that look like for you? So who do you model? What's your day? Yeah, so I model a few different people for different things. So I would say the first person I model is Chris Brown, as far as talent, skill level, and performance. Exactly. That's what's up. So as far as performance, skill level, talent, like just everything, creativity, that dude literally, like, there's a playlist on YouTube that I watch, and it's called Every Chris Brown Music Video, and it's like 180 videos plus, like, still going. It's
like 24 days worth of music videos and
exactly and his catalog is ridiculous. He has unreleased songs. So I aspire to do that, to have, like, to be a creative outlet of just songs and videos and just a lot of things, you know what I mean? As far as like a map, as far as a path for the industry, I think more of the Eric Bellinger route, because to me it's a little more attainable. I'm not signed to a big label deal. It's just very like practical, you know. My manager is my best friend, just like him, and just a lot of things, even with the artistry and the type of music too. So definitely those two guys I model. But yeah, as far as music, that's how it goes.
So you obviously probably see a similarity in the people that you model, right? Because they give you some sort of similar roadmap to follow, and there may be commonalities between Chris Brown and Eric Bellinger and maybe these other cats that you follow and everything. So, like, do you take any of those similarities for yourself? You're like, oh, I saw Eric Bellinger did this, I saw Chris Brown did this, like I'm gonna try to model that exactly. Do you think there's like downfalls to trying to model things very particularly? So how do you do that? Do you just take some shit and you're like, yo, I saw C Breezy did this, I'm gonna do that shit? Well, I saw Eric Bellinger.
I think it's more of a subconscious thing, because there's a quote called, or it says, what is it? Good artists copy and great artists steal. So everybody, like all the big artists, even, they all steal things from each other and shit like that. But I think there's a difference between like saying, yo, I want to make a song just like this and do this and like try to do that. Or you can just do your own thing and like subconsciously channel like the shit that maybe they would do. But it's like kind of disguised because you're putting your own authenticity into it. So, and I think that's just how music progresses over time too. It's like artists kind of evolve with each other. They steal from artists right before them. The next guy steals from them. But it's all like added with an authentic layer on top of it.
Yeah, yeah. Something to make it their own.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Dude, that's pretty crazy because like I remember, you know, there were bands that I used to listen to for years and I would always be like, man, these guys sound so original, whatever. And they still did sound original even when I went back and looked at their influences. Like I had been an Avenged Sevenfold fan like my whole life. And then I went back and looked at some of like the earlier like thrash and metal bands, like people from the big four, like Pantera and Megadeth and a bunch of other bands. And I could see the similarities between Avenged Sevenfold and their influences. And I was like, oh my God, like that blew my mind. So then I went deeper into the rabbit hole and I'm like watching videos of Marty Friedman, who was one of the guitarists for Megadeth. And I'm like trying to research like who are his influences, and it's literally just people continuing to evolve what others have done. I don't even necessarily think that the word stealing holds much weight because creativity, you know, humans aren't creative within some sort of vacuum. Creativity is derived from influences.
From other creativity.
From other creativity,
Yes.
yeah. Whether that be cultural creativity or influence, or maybe you just walked by someone on the street or whatever and and you saw something that influenced you. So just to touch on that for a second, you know, there's obviously like, okay, you straight copied this, but I think that people being influenced heavily by a particular creative individual isn't necessarily stealing, especially in music, because
every piece of art's gonna have different streams of different creativity, like that it was inspired for. Like your band, right? I'm sure like the couple songs that you dropped, if you really thought about it, there's probably like 2 or 3 other bands that like probably would have done something similar that you did, but you subconsciously channeled that. And I think but there is a fine line, right, with copyright and all that kind of stuff. But now there's like sampling and there's like other things where you can kind of get away with things like that. So but I mean, if you take Chris Brown too, right, for example, above him, right, Michael Jackson pretty much inspired like this whole generation. Like everybody kind of takes from him, right? And before him was James Brown and Fred Astaire, there's a couple other people, but every generation evolves and kind of takes what was before them and makes it better. So I would even say like Chris Brown, I mean, it's kind of a thing to say, but I think Chris Brown kind of surpassed the Michael Jackson, because I think that he took a lot of today's influences on top of what Michael did and just like did it even more, you know what I'm saying? So now like in my mindset, I'm like, cool, as crazy as it sounds, how can I surpass that? How can I take his thing, make it my own, and kind of like use today's time to surpass that, you know?
You're saying some pretty controversial shit, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some Michael Jackson fans at your fucking door.
Hey, I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan, so I'm arguing with myself right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I feel like what you said earlier was so key. Like setting goals and tangible goals will help your ultimate goal or mission or whatever accomplishment you're trying to achieve. It will make it seem more realistic. And I think that is absolutely so true, because what does it, like, there's tangible and intangible, right? You can say some sort of intangible thing, meaning that you can't physically measure it or look at it or feel it or whatever it is. I say I want to be a successful music manager. Well, that's entirely subjective. I could be making $50K a year as a music manager, supporting my family, going on the occasional vacation, and I'm like, I'm a successful music manager. To some people, they're like, fuck no, broke boy. I'm trying to be a multi-billionaire. That's a successful music manager. You know, so it's subjective, but to try to help realize what that is for you, you can set tangible goals, meaning things that you can achieve day by day, that you can write down, that can come to you. Like if you want to say, hey, being a successful music manager over the next 6 months means that I ensure that Ryan has an increase of X amount for all of his streams on Spotify. That is a tangible goal that you can write down, that you can work to achieve every single day. And it makes your ultimate goal, or my ultimate goal and mission of being a fucking amazing music manager, that much more realistic. And I think that's so true. And so Ryan and I are going to talk about the power list every fucking episode.
Yeah.
But to move even away from the power list, writing down goals and actionable steps that you can take and things that you can achieve on the daily are, in my opinion, the best way to achieve and to be able to measure your progress towards a long-term goal. And you know, from the MFCEO podcast, shout out Andy Frisella, writing it down does fucking help too.
Does.
Being able to, and I didn't believe it, like Ryan's a little more, you know, spiritual than I am. You know, I said, we'll go out to Vegas and they'll be like, hey, we'll do some tarot cards. Ryan's like, okay, let's do these fucking tarot cards. No, but you told me like, I'm a little more like cut and dry. I'm like, you tell me writing it down is going to be better, like whatever, I have the internet, whatever. But you told me, no, Jake, like in your mind, when you write things down and you can cross them off, like your brain processes that differently. So I started doing a daily goal sheet, power list, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I can cross off these tangible achievements that happen to me every single day that I accomplish. And
that W feels kind of good in a way.
It does. At the end of the day, I knock out those 5 things I have to do and I write a big W and I'm like, okay, cool. And I can now gauge, first off, and in my opinion, most importantly, mentally, in terms of your mental health, like, are you, you know, being conscious of that? Are you being conscious of staying mentally healthy and doing things that aren't going to drive you fucking insane? To help me stay mentally healthy, I write down these goals. It's so much more realistic. It's so much more manageable. You know, music management, manageable.
And let's face it too, like this music industry literally is all smoke and mirrors. Right? And it's like a fantasy for a lot of people. It's like, if you don't know like what really goes on behind closed doors, which we're still learning too, like we have so much to learn. But like
absolutely.
The things that we have learned, I feel like we got a little more confident with like, okay, this is really how it works. But to break it down into a practical day by day achievable thing is so important in the music industry, in my opinion, because you know, people around you are always gonna say, what if you don't make it? Or like, what if you make, or like, how are you going to make it? Like, you got to be at the right place at the right time. Like, you got to be lucky. And like, this whole mystical thing is around the music industry. And I think maybe that could have been true 20 years ago.
And that's overwhelming.
And that may have been a little more true 20 years ago. But now with the social media and
streaming services.
And just like you can make connections at events or whatever. Like, dude, like
LinkedIn.
It's so, you can definitely make it such a practical thing. Like, it's literally now it's just like, okay, we're a startup business. Like, how do we fund our business? How do we grow our business? You know?
I think now it's easier in the music industry given all of the resources, and especially from the fact that you can launch an entire music career simply from your laptop. I say simply, it's not entirely simple, but you know, it's been simplified over decades.
It's simple, but not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that people who want to become music artists, you're living in a time where although that smoke and mirrors is still kind of there and it still seems unrealistic to most people, to the boomers and everyone who wants to talk shit and tell you to go get a job in the financial sector, which I have no, you know, nothing against. I have friends that work in finance and my brother works in the finance industry and they're doing fucking well. It just depends what your goals are. I'm not talking shit. Right now, you're living in the most realistic time to become a music artist. Right now, it's more realistic than ever to become a music artist. And also, I'd like to say this too. If you write a song and you're able to release some sort of song, you're a music artist. I have 2 songs out on Spotify with my band. We have less than like 100 streams on the entire thing. I'm a music artist. I deem myself a music artist. I can tell people, hey, go listen to my music. I wrote this. We are artists. We created this, whatever. So I hope that people can take that information and be like, damn, number one, being a music artist is way more achievable than anyone fucking thinks. It's super achievable. Make music, put it out. Put out a video of YouTube playing that shit like raw, unproduced on YouTube. Hey, you're a music artist. Cool. The main thing and still is how do you become a wildly successful, chart-topping, world-traveling, global music artist? That's the big thing. But to all the people who are listening who are music artists, Ryan and I have been doing this for a couple years, and I mean, dude, even like two, maybe 3 years ago when you were like living in LA or whatever, like we probably didn't deem you like, fuck, you're not really like a music artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? You absolutely were. You totally fucking were. Like you had videos out on YouTube, whatever. So
just crazy early stages.
Yeah, crazy early stages. So I hope that kind of like eases the pressure on some people and you realize like, hey, use the internet to your advantage. All major social media platforms are completely free. It's free to upload to SoundCloud, and it costs, what, $10 on DistroKid to upload your music to fucking streaming services? Yeah, go out and get it. It's very realistic. Ryan and I are doing it right now. We're literally, you're listening to a podcast from two people who are trying to blow the fuck up in the music industry, and we're here telling you, hey, we've been doing this for a couple of years. It's pretty realistic.
Yeah, and it's exciting for me that we get to talk about this because I want to use this as like a platform to be like, yo, let's all go. Let's all get it.
Yeah.
Like all of us. Like the cool thing about the music industry is, yes, it's competition in a way, but at the same time it's not because it's a collaborative art form. And you don't win because someone else loses. You can both win. So I think it's so dope to have a podcast where we can talk about, you know, the come up and everything. And maybe there's people listening out there right now who are also coming up that are listening. And like the message is like, dude, let's all do this together. Let's all collab. Let's all make the best art we can. Let's all just speak like positive mindset stuff to each other. And like, we're going to win, dude. So yeah. I got excited there.
No, that's dope. I think industries based on creativity, like visual art, music, and anything else, there's always competition. As a business person, I'm going to say, yes, there's always competition. Like Chris Brown is your competition. Eric Bellinger is technically your competition. No, he still is, technically. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Technically, but in the grand scheme of things, listeners can have 5 or 10 favorite artists. Chris Brown, Eric Bellinger, and Ryan can be my favorite artists. All 3 of them can be, and I will take the initiative to spend money on all 3 of them. Whereas if you're looking at like a traditional good that people are selling, like I think in my experience, it's less likely that someone's going to say, oh, I got 5 favorite beers. I got 5. Dos Equis is one of my 5 favorite beers. They better plug us after this and give us a they better fucking sponsor us after this shit. But so what I'm trying to get across is that listeners can have multiple favorite artists, so don't get too overwhelmed like this person's my competition, that person's my competition. And it's even better in the music industry, in my opinion, for quote-unquote competitors to team up. Like, I don't know if Dos Equis and Corona would ever necessarily team up on some sort of advertising campaign or marketing initiative or whatever it is, but I could absolutely see Chris Brown and Eric Bellinger going, yo, we got similar fans, let's go on a tour together. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's do it. So music is one of those cool industries where quote unquote competitors can actually interact and create, in a synergistic way, create something better than if they both were exclusive of each other. So that's dope. Work with people. That's fucking dope.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
man.
Damn. What do you think about setting like short-term and long-term goals? Because I think like as the goals get more long-term, they become less tangible. Like your long-term goal technically would be like highest grossing music artist of the 2020s. It's like a multi-year goal. But your goals for today are like entirely different. So
my goals today is like eat 1 piece of fruit.
I know, right?
Write in my journal. Take a shower.
For real. Gas up my car and shit. My God.
But you were saying, so I lost it. Sorry, what were you saying?
Do you think that there's danger in setting more short-term goals than long-term, or long-term than short-term? Do you like to balance your short-term and long-term goals?
I think as important as it is to have a clear end goal, I almost feel like the shorter goals are like a little more important because as you're doing these tasks, right, your confidence is going up in yourself, your momentum is going up in yourself, and you're learning about things. So like a year ago, I didn't know a lot of the things that I know today because before doing the powerless tasks, right? So after getting a momentum with the powerless and stuff, I'm learning things as I go. And it's like the thing we talked about last episode, as we're executing, we're learning, more knowledge is coming in. That's like the ultimate way to learn and grow. So the confidence, the momentum, the knowledge is all growing faster in the beginning stages. And I would even argue that the beginning stages are probably the most exciting stages, but we don't see it now. Because we're so like, oh my God, like we gotta get it, we gotta make it, like we gotta get it. So, but I feel like looking back, we're gonna be like, those are the best times because we learned the most. It was exciting, it was a journey, and yeah. So that's my take. The short goals are definitely more important in my opinion, or the short tasks.
So should people still set long-term goals?
100%. I think they're all important, but I think that the short-term goals are the difference. Okay. Because you can have a long-term goal. Like if I said I want to be the biggest artist, but I didn't have day-to-day tasks and monthly goals and stuff like that, like what does that look like? How do I do that?
Yeah.
You know? So but if you worked backwards and was like, hey, I have all these short-term goals and I'm gaining my skills doing these short-term goals, maybe you can figure out your path later if you don't know it already.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a really great book called The Compound Effect. And I totally encourage people to read. Start doing the shit that is going to make you successful in what you want to do. If that means getting up every morning and reading 10 pages of a book, if your friends think that's whack, fuck those fools. You know what I'm saying? Fuck those fools.
That's just funny to me that people think that's whack.
Yeah. It's like, well, have fun making your fucking 20 grand a year. Get the fuck out of my face, fool. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you want to be successful, make more than that, like 20 grand a year or whatever I was just talking shit on, and you have these big goals set for you, start taking the actions necessary to bring you to that goal. Write those actions down and set these goals that you can now make more realistic. So what I wanted to say really quick, the book, The Compound Effect, they talk about how small actions every single day can compound into large results. And these are things, and this is one thing where patience comes into the equation. So you set these small goals for yourself every day, small actionable accomplishments that you can act upon every single day. For me, like on my to-do list, I have some sort of exercise and stretching every single day. The first month I was doing that shit, I was like, this isn't doing shit for me. What a bitch it is to go out and fucking do push-ups or face pulls or whatever it is. Shout out Athlete Next, face pulls or whatever I'm doing. And then like 2 months in, I was like at the skate park with my homies and I was like, yo, I'm way more flexible and I feel stronger riding my bike. Okay, cool. And the same thing happened with reading. I started reading month over month, like my brain, I was able to draw conclusions, make decisions, and my thought processes were more clear and effective and efficient. All of these things happen and they compound into these great results. And I got to tell people, if you don't start today, you're only prolonging that great result. You're only prolonging that aha moment where you're like, oh, fuck, this is helping me. So get it started today and do that by setting a goal and creating those actionable tasks and executing upon them.
Definitely. And I think that going off to like the long-term goal, right? Having that clarity for that long-term goal and knowing exactly what you want. I'm a firm believer, and we're going to get spiritual for a second, but I think you probably agree with this. I'm a firm believer that the things that you need to get that goal, you start attracting them. And you start slowly attracting different things that help you get there, right? So for example, I wanted to become the biggest artist in the world, but I didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, you show me the Andy Frisella podcast, the Powerless episode as one of the episodes, but the whole podcast. And literally, that's what I needed. I needed that. And if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't be here where I'm at right now and on my way. So I really think, and Kobe Bryant said this too in an interview. He said, the world, once you know exactly what you want and you make up that decision, you're going to get it. The world is like your library. Everything you want, you start picking out things in the world that matter for what you want to do. And everything else is just random. Right? But then you start catching the things like, okay, this book, I need this book. Like it's like a spiritual subconscious thing, like where you just start attracting the right things. Like you wanted to be my manager. That's no coincidence. Like I knew what I wanted to do, and you saw that, and it was like a thing. So
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that for sure. You start attracting those things.
I think part of what it is when you begin to list out and realize what is necessary for you to achieve that goal, your eyes and ears and senses start to filter just those things, right?
Yep.
Right? Like in the same sense how you said, like, those things come to you. And we spoke about this before. I think the opportunities that you need for the particular thing you're trying to accomplish, they're there, but you don't have the right focus. You don't have the right understanding of setting goals and realizing what you want to accomplish for those opportunities to be as important as you think they are. So what I mean by that is Ryan said that he wants to be the biggest artist in the world, whatever. Before you made that goal, you didn't know what the fuck was up. Someone could have approached you working in the film industry and could have been like, hey, blah, 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 this and that. And you're like, oh, this guy works in film, whatever. But then when you set that goal and you're like, hey, I want to be the biggest artist in the world, and you start listing out these steps that you can take to do that, I think your focus may shift and you may be like, wait a minute.
You start connecting the dots.
Yeah. And you can be like, well, this guy works in film, and music and film are like entirely intertwined. I wonder if this guy knows somebody, and you're gonna start finding opportunities where they quote unquote weren't before. But what's actually happening is you're becoming more accustomed to turning things into opportunities.
Okay.
You're like, oh fuck, this guy works in this. I wonder if I can connect this, and that, because that connects to this goal and this and that. So,
but if you didn't know what you want, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see how that would connect.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So. The goal setting, man. Know what you want. Yeah. It's so important.
For sure.
Man. Yeah. I think I just think it's so important to have a roadmap. And look, if you're not trying to achieve whatever, like if you just want to work your job, whatever that is, and make an okay salary or a good salary or whatever it is, and you have this thing where you're not trying to be super ambitious and achieve this crazy worldwide superstar status like Ryan and I or whatever, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like we're not, if that's you, we're not talking to you then. And I'm not demeaning you in any way. You may live a happier life than I do. Some people are fulfilled by just working their job, making a pretty good wage, going on vacation. I respect the hell out of that. You need to do what makes you happy. So don't listen to this podcast and be like, Ryan and Jacob are trying to do this shit, I need to do that. Dude, if making 50 grand a year, being able to go on the occasional vacation, you get to bang your wife every now and then, whatever, you have a couple cute kids. and you love going to the in-laws house every other weekend, whatever, and you could drink a beer with your boys every now and then. If that's the life you want, go out and fucking get that life. But
this is for that kid out there that has that little desire that they always had for something throughout their whole life, which I think we've always had. That's us. That little fire in us, you know what I'm saying? That's us, exactly. So we want to use this podcast as like, yo, if we're going to go for it, like, come with us. Like, we want to plant that seed in you too. Like, because I know there's some people out there who have that shit, but society has bogged them down by saying, yo, this isn't realistic. This isn't smart. This isn't safe. This is risky. But I don't know. I think the people who really change the world, bro, are those people who have that fire, but they hone it in, you know?
And look, the things that you want to accomplish are way more realistic than you think. Let's be honest. Some things are a little far out of reach, but Ryan and I go overload on like the you can do it attitude just because you have to fuel yourself that way. Like, obviously, I'm never going to play in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone told me you can do anything you want, I'm not going to play in the NBA. Let's just be honest, you know? But Ryan and I have this mentality of like, fuck it, fuck the naysayers. You can do whatever you want, because you need to have that fuel and that extra push. You got to have that fucking 4x4 V8 whatever car ready to plow through the negative bullshit that people have been telling you all your life.
But to me, that's only one of two of the ingredients you need, right? You need that positivity, right? But the second ingredient is you got to know how to look yourself in the mirror and be honest with what it's going to take and what you need to fix about yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's the part that people miss, right? That's the part that they don't want to deal with. It's the hard truth. Bro, I'm not going to lie, man. My first 3 or 4 years of pursuing and being a music artist, which I didn't know what the hell I was doing, by the way, I just felt like I was lying to myself, dude. I was like, I'm a good singer, right? I can sing. I was in choir. I got a lot of praise growing up. Like I never really got any negative comments about my skills or whatever it is. And I was like, dude, like it'll happen for me. Like if I just chill and I'll meet the right person at the right time and it'll happen and boom and everything will work out. You know, it's in my favor. But it hit me. The hard truth hit me. And I'm like, you know
make
what?
Me laugh.
It's funny, huh? Because I'm like,
it makes me laugh just looking at that now. Yeah,
it makes me laugh. And if I kept doing that, I would be fucking nowhere near where I should be. But it takes that look in the mirror and say, you know what? This guy right here is putting in this much more work than me. He's putting in this much more time. His mindset's way more on point. He's surrounded by better people for him.
You're talking about another person, like a competitor,
like a competitor,
quote, unquote, competitor.
Yeah, like a healthy competition.
Okay.
My skills are not where they need to be. How am I gonna do this consistently every day? Because being in music, and I was delusional about that too, right? I just thought like, oh, I'm gonna make it as an artist and it'll just it'll be a breeze and it'll be and it sounds so stupid that I say that now, but I really thought that subconsciously. My ego was big, right? But once I dropped the ego and this is the humble thing, right? Because I think that people get the idea of being humble wrong. I don't think being confident makes you not humble. Like us right now saying, yo, we're going to be the biggest.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not being humble. I think being humble is saying, okay, we're going to be the biggest. I know we are, but we have so much more to learn. We're far behind and there's always something we can improve on and I'm never good enough. Yeah. That's being humble because you're a student.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that confidence, you know?
You always need to be confident, but here's the greatest thing that I've learned. And I learned this in the past like year or two and this could be easy for anyone to say. You can be like, oh, I know I have a lot to learn, whatever. But when you get a motherfucker in front of you telling you exactly what you're doing wrong, that shit hurts.
It does.
That shit fucking hurts. It's the hard truth. And you, listen, as a music artist, as a person trying to climb the corporate ladder, as any fucking person, if you're trying to become a professional dancer, a personal trainer, if you majored in art history, if you didn't go to college, if you're trying to become the best welder or the best lineman, whatever the fuck it is, if you have this ambitious drive and this goal to achieve something, you need to be willing to sit there and have someone tell you what you're doing wrong. Yeah. And you need to put your fucking ego aside and understand that it's for your own good. And it's probably going to bring you the most improvement you could ever fucking imagine. A perfect example of this, and I want to say I am so grateful to work with Styx.
Yes.
Bro.
I was just about to bring him up too.
Yes. That's the only thing I can think this whole time was like Styx is the fucking man. So we have a teammate, a homie, you know, a mentor, a great fucking friend named Styx. Styx Entertain is his Instagram. STIXX Entertain.
Go follow him.
Yeah, seriously, go follow him. So Styx is like a very well-seasoned music industry professional, unbelievable choreographer, creative director. He's just a beast. And so we met up with him. We've been working with him for what? Over a year?
Year and a half, probably.
Fuck, a year and a half. Yeah. Styx is the big brother who will sit me and Ryan down and say, you guys are doing this great and you're doing this fucking horribly. And here's what you need to fix. And the thing is, though, he has the expertise and the experience and the knowledge to back it up.
Yes.
Don't let some random ass motherfucker tell you a bunch of bullshit when they're in the same position. Styx is an amazing mentor because like he has the shit to back it up. He's a well-seasoned professional. He knows what he's doing, so we listen to him. So don't let some fool fucking boss you around unless they're Styx. You know what I'm saying? But Styx, so I've had to learn, and I'm sure you have had, dude, over the last like year or two, you gotta put your ego aside. One time Styx called me after we filmed the Rose music video, which is one of Ryan's songs. You guys need to go check it out. And Styx was like, hey, man, I want to be completely honest with you. As a manager, you need to take more initiative and try to direct, give your opinions, and be a part of the process of the music video. He told me straight up, he said, Jacob, you sat there and talked to the engineer the whole time and didn't really do shit. And I was like, reality check. Fuck. And then I was like, dude, thank you so much for telling me. That could have went one of two ways. I could have said, yeah, for sure. And I could have said, who the fuck is this guy? He doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever. I decided to bite the bullet, put my pride aside, and I said, you know what, dude, Styx is a professional with lots of experience. And if I want to continue to learn, I got to put my fucking ego aside. Okay, That day changed my life. I'm not gonna lie. Like the No Help music video that we're filming next Saturday, I am going to be a part of that process. And I don't care if I annoy people or bug people or whatever. I'm going to give my 2 cents. I'm going to be a collaborative team member. But that growth didn't happen until I put my fucking ego aside. Shout out Sticks.
And I would say he's probably the main guy that helped me put my ego aside. Because when we first started working with him, right, I looked way different, sounded way different.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And I just was not, I was very amateurish.
Yeah.
And I think I still am, you know, like I got a long way to go and shit, but at that time it was like I had no chance. Like I look at it, I'm like, if I stuck with what I was doing, I would have had no fucking chance. But I made that decision because, you know, he told me, he's like, you know what? I've been in this game and you just need to step it up. You need to step it up. You need to put in your whole day needs to revolve around being a music artist because that's what these guys are doing. And you're kind of doing it here and there, right? I'll never. He's the kind of guy that would tell me, "Don't ever wear that again." Like straight up, like don't ever wear that again. Like, a fashion stylist would not give you that to wear, or he would say like, "Yo, your choreography is just not cutting it." Like, I'm sorry, but your dancing is just not cutting it. And I think that is the person that you need if you want to be successful. And the more people you have like that on your team, I think the better. And I think that makes a better friend too.
Totally.
Because a friend that sugarcoats you, right? Like if you sugarcoated me and was like, yeah, like you're good, like this was all good, and like that would honestly,
it doesn't help you.
It doesn't help. Like if you're straight up and blunt with me and say, hey Ryan, like this song, I'm sorry, but bro, this ain't it, right? Or if you know whatever it is, like this idea sucks or whatever. Like you need that straight up honesty because that is what helps you grow. It's that hard truth. That hard truth is the thing that makes you level up. It makes you work harder and it builds your mental toughness.
Fuck yeah.
And that's where we're going next.
That's what, you know what? We're talking about powerless, mental toughness. They should just go listen to Real AF. Let's just plug it right now. Listen.
I was going to plug Relentless right now.
All right, you go first. You go first.
Okay. So,
put his beer down and put his Dos Equis down.
Because the cleaner, that all ties in. Okay. Tim Grover, right? He was a trainer for Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, like all the greats. He wrote a book called Relentless, and I was referred to it by Andy Frisella on his podcast because I think he was on the show and shit. And literally, this book changed my damn life. And like, it's so crazy, dude. And like,
I'm scared of Ryan now. He read Relentless. I fear this motherfucker. He pulls up to my house with a fresh cut. This fool gets his hair cut every day. Fresh ass chain. Pulls up, and I'm like, hey Ryan. He's like, did you do your power list today? And I'm like, what? He's like, you got to be a fucking cleaner today, dog. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But
he'll explain what a cleaner is.
I feel that. But anyway, so he says there's 3 people, right? And I'd rather you go to his show and his book and have him explain it, but I'll break it down as briefly. There's a cooler, a closer, and a cleaner. And a cooler is someone who kind of just does the job, shows up at 9 a.m., leaves at 5 p.m. from his job, does exactly what he has to do, does not stay a minute later, does exactly what's needed, boom, that's it. A closer is someone who ends up getting the clutch shot, right? Or ends up getting or has a great moment, but doesn't get the great moments consistently. A cleaner is someone who lives and breathes fucking success and greatness.
Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
Yes, and radiates greatness.
Yes.
And I would classify Sticks as a cleaner because
hell yeah, bro.
When I was reading that, I definitely correlated him to that. And so I told myself, I was like, how can I be a cleaner? And like I said, go to the book, read it. Relentless. He explains it way better, and he will put something in you if you have it in you, like that fire. Like he will bring it out of you. So, yeah. And you read it recently too, right?
I did read it recently after Ryan ranted and raved about it and was like, bro, you gotta read this book.
You're like, all right, I'm annoyed at this guy. Let me fucking read it.
Yeah, straight up. I was like, all right, if that'll shut you the fuck up, I'll read it, whatever. But I read it and it was very cool, very insightful, very thought-provoking. It made me think, it did help me identify coolers, closers, and cleaners. Yeah, I was able to go to work or I was able to interact with people and I'd be like, yeah, that person's a cleaner for sure.
For sure.
They're the leader. They're the person that takes the initiative. They're the Jordan. They're the
the 2 people that we know that I thought of instantly when I was reading about the cleaners is Nate James and Sticks.
Bro,
I just kept
that
thinking
is
of them
accurate
the whole time.
as fuck. Nate.
We're plugging. We plugged him on both episodes.
I know, for real. No, because he's a fucking gangster, bro.
I'm gonna manifest it. We're getting him on the show.
Yeah, I'm a man. We're gonna get Nate James on the show. Yeah, he's a cleaner for
Anyways,
sure. Him and Sticks are definitely cleaners. I just think that's so funny, bro. Because I thought of the same shit too. I started thinking of people who were like cleaners and whatever. So look, being a cleaner or being ambitious, whatever. The shit that we're saying applies to anything. Like you're not, like I said, if you want to be the best art historian ever, if you want to be the best cupcake baker ever, if you want to be the best Dos Equis brewer ever, go out and do that shit. Set the goals, take the steps, read Relentless, be a cleaner.
And be a fucking problem solver.
Dude. There are so many fucking people who are like, yeah, you know, I put on my resume, like, I'm able to solve problems, but all people do is bitch about bullshit, and they fuel the fire that is the fucking problem. Here's what you do to provide a solution. You sit, you think for a second, you weigh your options, and you make a fucking decision, and you control along the way. You don't sit there, you don't have a meeting about the meeting that you're gonna have about the meeting, discussing the fucking meeting about how to solve the issue. A cleaner and an ambitious, successful person who wants to get shit done, you make a decision, a thoughtful, well-informed decision, and hey, that decision may be risky, okay, but you make a fucking decision. You don't sit there in the stalemate of, oh, well, I could do A or B or X, Y, Z or whatever. You make a fucking decision, and you live with the consequences. And guess what? If some bullshit happens and it flips back on you, and you're like, oh, fuck, this is worse than it was, you know what you do? You gather around again, you sit down, you make a decision, you control along the way. You make that decision and you live with it and you control it. And understand that nothing really is life or death. No business decision is going to kill you. No decision about your outfit or your artistry or the cupcakes you bake or whatever is going to kill you. Very few things are life or death. And I actually read a thing, I don't remember the exact quote, but Steve Jobs was talking about how when he has to make a big decision, he just remembers he's going to die one day. He's like, I just remember that one day I'm going to die, and you just got to make a decision.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I took away from the whole cleaner thing was that cleaners are people who don't panic when shit goes different or wrong. They're the people that are calm and carry the team and say, you know what? A, B, and C messed up our whole plan. Here's what we're going to do now, on the spot. Boom, we're going to do this. We're going to change this. Boom. And I thought of Nate James because I remember being on that video shoot with him that one time, right?
And he was like, just coming up with
it.
And
shit wasn't going exactly how it was planned, and people were showing up late or whatever it was. And he was like, cool, we're going to change this way. We're going to go in this direction. And I just remember that. I always keep that in mind.
Never skipped a beat, bro. That fool never skipped a fucking beat.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But what was I going to say? You want to start bringing in any questions or anything? Or?
Well, real quick, if I can interrupt you, I'm about to piss out this whole bottle of Dos Equis, so give me like 2 seconds. Let me run in there and take a leak real quick.
Okay. Get it.
Don't worry, I'll chop it out.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what to talk about right now.
You're sitting there,
I'm a different person when you leave. Damn. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning into the podcast. This is episode 2. I'm trying to fill in the gap while he's taking a piss right now, but basically, yeah, I'll do a little self-promo, you know what I'm saying? If you're listening to the podcast and you don't know about my music, I just dropped a project called Double R Part 1. It's the first half of a project series that I'm doing. It's I'm calling it a mixtape. It's pretty much a mixtape, but Double R Part 1 is 5 songs. It's got 5 songs called Willing, No Help, Speed It Up, To It All, and Most Nights. Just put out the Most Nights remix as well. So you can find all this stuff on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, every platform. So go check it out. Double R Part 2 is coming out pretty soon. And for those of you guys who didn't know, Double R is like my little stage name, second name type thing that I started going with that I'm going to roll with. Yeah, the Double R is like RR, Ryan Ramirez, like pretty much my name. So that's where that came from. And that was actually thought of by AJ on the Beat, who's the guy who pretty much produced, I would say, about 90% of my catalog that's online right now. So shout out him. I definitely would want to get him on the podcast too. He's definitely a dope dude. But he lives in Kansas, so we'll see how that happens. And the way we met actually was, I'm just going on tangents, but I don't care, whatever. The way we met actually was through Instagram. He hit me up and was like, hey bro, you're a dope singer. I got a beat. And that song actually turned out to be Betray. So if you go to my Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever, Betray is the song, the first song we did together. And ever since then, we've made bangers. So, yeah. But yeah, to top it all off, the whole Double R series is gonna end with, at the end of the year, probably on my birthday. I'm thinking November 26th. Is gonna be the Double R Deluxe Edition, or the Complete Edition, whatever we call it. But it's gonna have all 10 songs from the 2 projects. I'm gonna have some bonus songs. I'm gonna have the Most Nights remix on it with Troy Tyler. I'm gonna have I Love Pretty Girls, which is my most popular song. And yeah, we're just gonna have a lot of music, and that's one thing I've always wanted to be as an artist too. Someone who dropped a lot of music and didn't hold back music, and just kept throwing out new stuff. You know what I mean? So
Back, bitches.
Yeah. I was doing some self promo for my music.
I left and you were like, God, what should we talk about? You know, I dropped this song called My Only Wish a couple months ago. I dropped this EP. Sorry,
this Christmas banger. Anyways, so no, I'm done. I'm ready for you.
Oh, for sure.
I was just trying to.
You know who's so fucking dope?
What?
Is Brooks.
Yeah.
I saw that fool and I was walking out the house and we just looked at each other, nodded, threw up a peace sign, and it was just like, what up?
That's my mom's boyfriend. So my stepdad, pretty much. So
he's cool. He's fucking working his ass off in the garage, dude. Every time I come over to Ryan's house, Brooks is like working from his computer with his like headset on and stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, bro, it's like pretty motivating. Like I see that fool grinding, and I've told him before, I'm like, yo, Brooks, like you're putting in work. He's like, gotta do what you gotta do, bro. And I was like, cool.
Damn. And the best part about it is he's got a good attitude about it too.
Yeah, bro.
He's always like a nice guy, always just a good attitude about fucking.
I've never heard him complain.
Yeah,
I've never heard that guy complain, man. So I have this thing called a vision board.
Okay.
It's not some spiritual shit. Well, it kind of is actually.
It is.
You might fuck with it a little bit. So my friend Rob, who I actually met because he was my brother's friend. It's weird growing up when you become like homies with your brother's homies.
Yeah,
like
or your teachers.
I know, like I'm tight with one of my teachers right now, and we like send memes to each other and shit. And I'm like, you still gave me a B, and now we sending each other memes and shit. The fuck. No,
and then you know what's next? We're best friends with our idols.
Oh fuck.
Anyways,
dude.
Sorry.
And then after that, no. The vision board. So my homie Rob, what's his Instagram? Is it at Rob Guadarrama? I think he changed it, right?
I don't remember.
Okay,
but
whatever.
Look him up. It'll come up.
Yeah. Find him. Rob is a really like unbelievably talented musician. A really cool guy too. Like when we were kicking it at his house, like we vibed, bro. Like he was a fucking good dude. So, and we're still cool and shit, and we still talk. So, when Ryan and I we were recording the record Anaheim Acoustic.
Yep.
We were recording Anaheim Acoustic at Rob's studio, and Rob is like a phenomenal keys player, so he was like laying down keys and like basically helping us compose this record, which was fucking sick. And he was like, do you know what a vision board is? And I'm like, what's a vision board? And he showed us his vision board. He sent me a video of it. He sent me like a 2-minute video of him explaining what the vision board is. But basically, this ties into goal setting and everything. So a vision board, and Andy Frisell talks about this too. All the, everything we're saying, like a lot, it's nothing new, dude. Like this is just. Go listen to Real AF or go listen to whatever other podcasts. Like people who are successful and stuff.
They all say the same shit.
We're just trying to model it, and we're just like regurgitating it based on what we've experienced. So a vision board is like a cork board or some sort of board, and you put pictures on it that signify certain accomplishments you want. So, for example, in my room, I have a vision board that has a guy holding a fat-ass wad of cash because I want to be financially independent. I want to make a fuckload of money. People say, you could talk all the shit you want, say that's greed, whatever. If I can pay for my parents' hospital bills and buy my mom and dad a fucking car or a house or whatever it is, or I can do this, money will help that. And money is a good thing. And being ambitious and trying to get money is not a fucking bad thing. And I will argue that every day. Bring whoever you want on this fucking podcast. Being ambitious and trying to get money is a damn good thing. So I have that. I have a picture of Kirk Hammett from Metallica playing in front of a massive crowd because one day, somehow, maybe it'll be with you on stage, I want to play guitar in front of a fat-ass crowd. And so on and so on. There's a picture of Scooter Braun and Justin Bieber on there because I want to be a successful music manager. So basically, a vision board is a more like spiritual. No, it's like a more spiritual, kind of like overarching, I guess less tangible, like goal setting sheet, right? You put things on there like, hey, here's this, I'm going to accomplish it. And the biggest thing that Rob told me was, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to accomplish this, but it's going to happen. And so you put that vision board up there to remind you of what your vision is. So mine is to just be a wildly financially successful and also like successful in terms of the industry and everything, and a successful musician, a successful music manager. And pretty much everything on that board revolves around music and wanting to be like financially independent, successful music manager and everything. But to talk about the long-term goals and everything, like that's one thing where when I'm sitting doing my power list and I'm like, fuck man, I'm kind of overwhelmed, whatever. I'm doing these little day-by-day tasks. I look to my left, I look at that fucking cork board on my wall, and there's a picture of JB and Scooter Braun, you know, with another fat ass crowd at the Grammys or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I know what I'm working for.
There's definitely a power in visualization. And the only reason why I do believe it is because pretty much literally, dude, every successful person that speaks about this kind of shit, they all say it. They all say it. They would say, I used to close my eyes at night and visualize exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like one time Andy Frisella said, I used to visualize myself opening that Lamborghini car door.
Yes.
And picturing the way that the handle looked on my hand, opening it, like my hand touching the seat as I'm getting in, like all the details, like trying to get as many details. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to start imagining myself on stage. And it's fun too. Like this is what kids do. When we were kids, we used to do this. Yeah. Right? I would visualize myself on stage. I would picture what would those three people that I'm looking at in the front row, what would they look like? What shirts are they wearing?
What would they be wearing? Yeah.
Exactly. Like all the details, because I believe that there's so much power in that, and the mind is not a damn joke. The mind, I don't know what it is, dude. It's that's where the spiritual element comes in for me. I think that like if you start visualizing exactly what you want, you're gonna get it. You are gonna get it consistently. And something I do at nighttime, which is it's kind of weird in a way, but I got this from the Napoleon Hill book. I think it was.
It's where you stand in front of a mirror, take your shirt off, you rub your nipples, and you close your. Yeah, that's what it is.
I think it's in Think and Grow Rich, but it could be The Law of Success, one of those two books. But basically, what he said is, I used to close my eyes at night before I went to bed. I would pick 5 people that I look up to in the world, or what I wanted to be like in a way, like the traits, and you picture yourself. It's so fun. It sounds weird, like telling people this, but like I think it works. Sitting at a table, council table with those 5 people, and you saying to those people,
"Oh yeah.
I
remember this.
I want these traits out of you. I want these traits out of you. I want this out of you, and whatever." So I've been doing that every night, and it's funny because I think I've been getting a lot of those traits from those people, but not because like it's a weird spiritual thing, maybe, but because when your mind tells yourself, I want this, like it finds a way to get it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's definitely, I do something too. That's my vision board in a way, I guess. My version of it.
I think that, man, it's so shitty to hear some people talk about things that they want to do and be like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that shit. It's like, no, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Is it going to be tough? Yeah, it's going to be really tough. Could it put you in a shitty situation? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of bad shit that can come with just 100% going in on your goal, especially when it's something that doesn't have a roadmap, like trying to be a music artist, you know, like, you know, at least like when you're trying to get your degree or you're getting your position and trying to climb the corporate ladder, it's like, okay, I have a roadmap. I can go to school, I can major in accounting, I can try to intern at these accounting firms, I can, you know, work on LinkedIn and try to network and shit. There's a bit more of a roadmap, but I think people get really scared, and for good reason, when it's something so quote unquote unrealistic, like being a music artist or being a professional chef or being whatever. But one thing I want to touch on too is like there's an entire huge range of successful music artists. Like Eric Bellinger was, and I believe still is, a writer. Right? Right? A songwriter.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, you can write songs. That's what the publishing department of a label is. You can write songs for other artists, and Ryan's done this too. And you can write a song, meaning you write the lyrics, you come up with the whole song, and you give it to a music artist, and you say, hey, I want you to perform this song. Or they'll be looking for a song. They'll be looking for someone to write a song, and they'll say, hey, here's the concept, whatever. So you can be a songwriter and you can be low key, and you could literally be making thousands of dollars as a quote unquote music artist, because you are a music artist. You're creating art that is music and whatever. There's that. You can become some sort of engineer behind the scenes. You can be just a session guitarist. There's so much shit to do. And I'm sure it's the same with baking cupcakes, and it's the same with trying to be an art historian. People think that there's just this one goal, and it's like, okay, I want to play on I want to play at Staples Center in front of whatever, and I want to sell it out. It's like, well, yeah, that's a goal. That's a good goal to have. But there's so much in between where you are and where that is. There's so much. You could be a songwriter. You can be this. You could be that. So, and all of those things that you can be those things along your journey to becoming that guy who sells out Staples Center. So like for you, Ryan, if your goal is to become the highest grossing music artist of 2020, whatever, that doesn't mean that you can't write songs for people under a publishing deal with a label or whatever and fucking sell written songs to people.
Yeah, there's different paths to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's totally different paths to get there. So everybody just needs to, you know, in a sense, kind of quit tripping, be realistic and look and say, okay, how can I make money doing what I'm trying to do? What can I model? What have other people done? And especially, guys, I'm telling you, we are so blessed with the internet.
Yeah.
We are so fucking blessed. More than our parents, more than our grandparents. Everybody wants to talk shit about how fucked up the world is. The world is a fucked up place, but it's also the best it's ever been. Got a long way to go, but it's the fucking best it's ever been. And anyone can hop on the internet and learn a skill or whatever it is. So, end of rant.
No, I feel that. One thing I wanted to touch on too, like while you're talking about that, was what I took from Russ, right?
Yeah.
The music artist Russ. I got his book. It's called This All in Your Head by Russ. And any music artist or anybody creative out there, I recommend that you get this damn book because it's short, it's simple, but it's gems for days.
Yeah.
And one thing I took from him is that you got to have a level of delusion in a way while you're doing this, because 2 years ago, right? If we would have known everything about the music industry already and our skills weren't up to par and we were just kind of getting started and we knew way too much, like, I don't think we'd probably get discouraged and we'd probably give up because there is so much. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, right? But if you have, and I thought like the first song I made was like, this is a hit. I was delusional. I was delusional by thinking this song is gonna be the song that moves me forward. What an egotistical motherfucker, right? My first song ever is gonna be Smash, top 10. Right?
Reality check.
Exactly.
To everybody listening, your first song out is not gonna be
exactly.
Smash Hit,
but I would take that back and I would say maybe it is, because you got to have that level of delusion and say that's what gives you that confidence to keep that grind going and keep going.
Totally.
Like to this day, like every couple months, every year that I'm doing this, right, I still think like right around the corner it's about to happen. Like literally in like a month, something's gonna happen, and boom.
I feel that way too.
I feel that way every day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But if we didn't have that, it's almost like it would be dragging, discouraging, messed up. It would take away from the exciting part of it.
Yeah.
But I think that delusion of like, yo, something's about to happen, constantly feeling like that. Like, remember 2 years ago, when we first started, we always felt like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I still feel like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Like the reality is that Ryan and I may blow up 3 months from now when he drops the second part of his EP, or it may be 3 years from now. But doesn't fucking matter. Every day I'm gonna wake up and be like, we're onto something.
Yep.
We're onto something. You know, and that goes back way back to the whole like realistic goal setting. Like so Ryan and I set these milestones that are due on August 30th. It's like he wants 500 SoundCloud followers, 3,000 Instagram followers, 1,000 Spotify followers, 20,000 streams on I Love Pretty Girls, which is one of his songs, 6,000 on Speed It Up. I got this shit memorized because I look at that fucking board of milestones every day.
Yeah.
My healthy level of delusion is fueled by those tangible and realistic goals and milestones that we set. So to talk about like milestones and short-term, long-term, whatever goals, Ryan and I set these milestones 2 months ago, maybe?
No, like 3 months ago.
3 months ago? Yeah. And we were like, okay, fuck it. Let's just put a date down, August 30th. Here's our goals, whatever. And Ryan always texts me too. He's like, yo, whatever happens, we're going to achieve those by August 30th. Doesn't matter if it happens in the last week of August, doesn't fucking matter. We are going to achieve those. So like when I wake up in the morning, and by the way, we're on track to getting every single one of those, except the Instagram followers, which is kind of a bitch. I'm still figuring that out. We're doing like a bunch of advertising and different shit to try to make it work. But when I set those goals and I see us achieving those milestones, like those short-term goals or whatever you want to call them, that healthy level of delusion is fueled. I'm like, yes, we're right around the corner. Like Double R Part 1 was supposed to get 10,000 streams by August 30th. It's at like 11.5 now.
Yeah, and it's like July 30th. Right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a month before.
Yeah, and he was supposed to get 1,000 Spotify followers by August 30th, and now he's gaining about 20 a day, and he's at 900 today. And I'm like, yo!
Yeah.
So then that delusion that makes me twitch and shit in the morning and be like, yo, we got this. We're right around the corner. Like, those goals help fuel that.
And this reminds me of that one book, The 4-Hour Work Week, where it talks about, well, is it that book, or it might be a different book, where it talks about, if you give yourself a week to do something, it's going to take you a week to get there. Or if you give yourself 2 hours to do something.
Yes, the 4-Hour Work Week talks about that. I think it's called Parkinson's Law. I think.
okay.
You guys can all fact check me,
Okay.
but yes, it's whatever time frame you give yourself, the activity will fill that.
Yes, and I'm a firm believer that if you have a goal written down for a deadline for a day, you will figure out how to get that goal. Your mind will figure it out. Things will come up along the way. And I think the spiritual part of it, or the God part of it, is that if you're at it and pushing as hard as you can, he might nudge little things that like they're gonna help you kind of get that. Like if it's still there and you're still doing it, that's my belief. Like because I've seen that happen for myself too. Like small goals that I would set, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna do this in a month.
Yeah.
But then something happens like the last day or the last week that like changes the whole thing, and like boom, we got it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Weird. It's weird.
That's true.
But anyways.
No, I agree though.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's like, it's the same shit like for all my homies who went to college, like, and everybody who's in college or whatever, like if your professor gives you an assignment that's due 3 months from now, like I remember for my, oh God, what was it? Management 449, which was like a capstone management class, which was like the icing on the cake for your major or whatever. Like regardless of your business major, you have to take it. We had like 3 assignments, like big reports that were due like 1 month in, 2 months in, 3 months in, and then we had like our final project that was due like way at the end of the semester. And like me and Carlos, did I tell you Carlos was in that class with me?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had a class with Carlos. Shout out to my homie Carlos. So Carlos and I were in that class. We fucking killed that shit, by the way. Yeah. That last project that our professor gave us 4 months to do, dude, we put that shit together in like less than a week.
Yeah.
Like if he would have told us, hey, this quote unquote big final project is due in a week, we would have been able to do it. But he told us it was due in 4 months or whatever, so we stretched it along the 4 months. It's the same shit with your goals. If you're trying to become a music artist and you say I want X amount of streams by the 30th of this month, it's gonna stretch. The actions you take, everything is gonna stretch to fill that amount of space, that time. So set like realistic goals like that, but don't be a bitch and don't put that shit out like, oh, I need 6 months to get this amount of streams.
Yeah.
Like
Push yourself.
Yeah, push yourself. You can go on the internet. Look, everybody, if you want more streams on Spotify, go run digital ads. Go reach out to people, post on blogs, reach out to curators. There's ways to fucking do it. And you can achieve those things in probably a shorter time frame than you set for yourself.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So you want to do some questions and kind of close it out?
Yeah. That's right. We do have questions.
We're at an hour 2 right now.
Dude, let's do fucking 6 hours, bro.
I'm down for whatever,
I'll go to the liquor store, get another fucking big bottle.
You finished that? Damn.
Yeah. You got any questions? You want to go first? Hit it.
What's your favorite color? I'm just kidding.
Magenta.
Christian Corona, what's up, bro? You seem like you know rock. Why is it dying?
That was one of mine.
Wait, what?
That was one of mine.
What you mean?
Like that was one that I got on my story.
Oh, you talking about what I got?
Yeah. What did you get? What did you get?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got one from @ConeShoe. I think it's Anshu or Anshu. She said, any tips for self-learning singers? I would say be careful with YouTube. I would say that because I think that there's a lot of opinions about singing and technique and stuff on YouTube that can really mess you up because everyone kind of contradicts each other in a way. Like some people are like, oh, you got to build up your vocal endurance by singing more and then your voice will get used to it just like your muscles will grow and shit.
Yeah.
But then you get someone else who says, yo, you don't want to do that because you're going to get vocal nodules and you're going to hurt yourself and you're going to need surgery. So you better take it easy and rest and do that kind of thing. So there's all sorts of opinions about vocals on YouTube. So just be careful with that. I would say, I mean, the thing with me too is like I'm still learning. Like I'm not I wouldn't even say I'm a master at singing. Like I'm still learning the best technique to use, all that stuff, like taking in different opinions and stuff. So I think everyone's always learning, but I'm definitely still learning too. But just be careful on YouTube for one, and for two, I would say just sing as much as you can and study the people that you like. Study them like crazy. I remember I was in the 8th grade studying Justin Bieber like crazy. I was like, I remember I had these Beats headphones. I would go in the corner of my room, like, and like it was weird, like in the closet in the corner, and just like in the corner, just like start singing, like trying to match his tone and match like the shit he was doing, his inflections and all that kind of stuff. And there was one video I remember I used to every day study this video. It was called Be Alright. Was it? Yeah, Be Alright live in Mexico. Justin Bieber. Oh shit! I used to study that shit like crazy. I don't know what it was. I love that video so much. So I
student of the game.
So I was a student for that video for sure. And As Long as You Love Me and all those songs. So definitely study the greats. Yeah, that's the answer.
That's fire.
That was a long
dude.
answer, but whatever.
That's fire. No, I totally agree with that. Like, I think when it comes to playing and like playing guitar. For me, playing guitar and singing and all of these different instruments and stuff, there's definitely a level of like technical skill, but it's also kind of like what works for you. So I'm not a vocalist, but for guitar, I watch videos pretty much every day of different technical exercises, ways to hold your pick, ways to position your arm. But at the end of the day, those are just guidelines. And one person could be wrong. Like I watched a video of a guy holding his pick a particular way and I was trying to use it, whatever, and it just was not working for me. And I watched another video and I found one that did work for me. And now to this day, I do kind of like a blend of different, like I took all these ways of how you hold your pick and I've kind of like said, okay, here's all the technique that I've learned. What works for me? And I took all that and now I hold my pick like a particular way and I position my arms a particular way when I play guitar. So
and I think that's what builds authenticity too. Yeah, like a new style or something. Like someone who doesn't
100%.
Just stick by the book rules and just does what feels natural, but incorporates, some technicality, but just does their thing with it.
Yeah, that goes for anything. Dude. Yeah. It's like people are so afraid to like do something new, but what everybody has to understand is like the world runs off of people doing new shit. People have jobs because some guy or girl went out there and was like, I want to start this business that does this product or service in a way that is new and different than another person.
Yeah, and singers also be careful with any programs or classes or anything like that because they're all, not to hate on them because I think they're all great, but like, if you want to be an artist, be careful because they will try to change your natural ability and your natural soul to fit a technicality and the vowel shapes and all that kind of shit, which is, all that stuff is great too, but I had to train out a lot of that kind of stuff to be where I am right now and to have my own sound. And if I followed along with that, I don't think I would, Yeah. So be careful with that.
Yeah. That's the exact thing about like playing an instrument, and the voice is an instrument, and you gotta take what you can from the technical aspects, but do what works for you.
Yep.
Just because someone sweep picks in a particular way or someone enunciates or pronounces their vowels in a particular way, that might not work for you.
Do what you think sounds good and what looks good for you.
Yeah.
Like Jacob always laughs at me about the most nights. Most nights.
Yeah.
He's like, the way you say that is different, but that's
like
just
it.
how I heard it. So
yeah,
just do what you think sounds good.
And that could start the new wave.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
you know? That's dope. Let me see what kind of questions I got right here. From Brett Wells, which is my cousin, actually. Shout out to Brett. What is the biggest gap that you have to bridge coming from a formal education to the real business life? Let's see. The biggest thing that I have had to, battle with is that when you're in college for your particular discipline, opportunities are handed at you left and right.
Wow.
There are career fairs once a month, once a week, whatever. At least right. So I went to Cal State Fullerton and I majored in entrepreneurship. And everybody from the business program and everybody on campus. So everybody from the business program got emails weekly. And I remember that shit weekly saying, hey, we're having this event. We're having that event. We're having employers from the big four accounting groups. Because, there's like industry leaders, like accounting groups. They're called the big four. And they're going to, some of their representatives are going to be on campus. And I went to them a couple times. And then the career center for the entirety of the school would say, hey, job fair this day, that day, whatever, whatever. If you're a person in college, and I just got out of college 6 months ago, so I still have like a really good recollection of like the things I experienced and everything. I also worked on campus. So I worked at the rec center at Cal State Fullerton for almost 5 years. So I had a very good understanding of the student life and the things that the resources on campus tried to offer. So I want to tell people, if you're in college, you need to milk the fuck out of being a student. For some reason, so within school, let's talk about within school first. People want to help you. Professors want to help you. I think that, you know, college is expensive and everything, and you're going to probably get a comparable education if you go to like some other Cal State or whatever it is. College provides you tons and tons of resources and opportunities to connect with people who will help you get to the level that you want to get at. I had the opportunity to go to any professor within or outside of business, and I could have knocked on their door and said, hey, I'm a business student, I want to talk. They would have said, okay, cool, grab a chair. Or hey, email me, we'll set up a time. Cool, let's do it. There are so many opportunities. There were career fairs all the time. And I'm sure that it's like that at a lot of other colleges, especially in the Cal State system, because that's the system that I was in. And so, guys, you need to take advantage of the things that college give you. So that's within college. There's tons and tons of shit. And if you're a business major, let's say you have a great business idea and it has to do with personal training. There's nothing stopping you from walking into the kinesiology building at your college and knocking on one of the professor's doors and saying, hey, I don't know who the fuck you are. You don't know who I am, but I'm a business student and I have this business idea and it has to do with fitness and I need like 5 personal trainers to talk about the business idea with. Do you have any students that you recommend or whatever? Like, dude, college and trade schools, whatever it is, like if you're enrolled in any sort of school or any sort of educational resource, take advantage of the fact that there's a huge fucking network there. Like, you're afraid to talk to people, whatever it is, dude. If you're in college, no one's going to think you're weird if you walk up and say, hey, we both go to college here. I have this idea, whatever. Can we talk about this, and that? People want to help you. Yeah. Professors want to help you. Okay. Outside of college.
You're like, you nerd. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you're trying to better yourself and get a higher education? Fuck you, nerd. No. So people on your campus want to help you. Take advantage of those resources. I think it costs like 30 grand to go to Cal State Fullerton. Okay, which, by the way, the cost to go to college is just unbelievable and it's fucking stupid. That's a whole nother conversation. But you're paying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, whatever, and some people go to med school, whatever, to pay a lot of money to go to school. Take advantage of every single resource on campus. Outside of school, people want to help students. Internships are provided specifically for students. If I go up to Scooter Braun or whatever, or someone, whoever it is, in my opinion, and based on my experience, people are more likely to help someone who is in some sort of higher education, like whether it's a trade school or whatever it is, facility, as opposed to someone who's just Joe Schmo off the street. And the reason is, that's not to say that people who don't go to college and shit are ambitious. Like, I'm talking to you, you didn't go to college or anything like that, and you're the most ambitious guy I know. People who go to college are able to flex that accolade of, hey, and when I say college, I mean like trade school, college, community, it doesn't matter, like any school. They can flex the accolade of, hey, I am going to this institution, and that shows that I have an ambition and drive to want to collaborate with others and put myself in an environment that boosts me up. So I go and I meet up with people and I'm like, hey, I go to college, whatever. They may look at me and say, hey, this person took the initiative, however they're paying for it or whatever, to go to college and to surround themselves with like-minded people. I might want to give this guy a chance. Okay, I haven't even answered the fucking question yet. I'm just ranting. I got a lot of shit to say about college. Let's see what it was. Biggest gap coming from formal education to the real business life. There aren't as many opportunities. Oh my God, dude, that gave me a Vietnam flashback right there. Jesus. That should give me PTSD right there. Good?
Yeah.
To answer the question in a nutshell, like I should have done from the jump, there aren't as many opportunities that are going to be just handed to you in the real world like when you're a student. When you're a student, opportunities are handed left and right, and you can really leverage the fact that you're a student. The biggest bridge that I had to gap that I had to bridge was realizing that money doesn't grow on trees. People aren't just going to hand you things left and right.
Got it.
Okay. Sorry.
I got it.
So I started going off, started yelling. The last thing, I mean, maybe to close it off, what are some of your personal goals? Like, what do you put on your power list every day? What do you have planned?
Like, what are my day-to-day tasks usually?
Yeah, just tell everyone like your big goals, tell everyone your daily goals. Like, what are your goals?
So we've already said it a million times. Like, my biggest goal is to become the biggest artist of the 2020s, most impactful, highest grossing. I would say that my day-to-day goals are pretty much the same. It's usually like read. So I'll read a couple chapters a day. My second task is usually pretty much like dance for a couple hours, whatever I'm working on, like for a show or just learning new skills, like dance wise or freestyling or whatever it is. Then another part of the power list is to sing. So I'll sing for a little bit. Another part of it's to write, like whether that's writing for someone else or writing for myself or just writing any song. And then another one's work out. And those are all pretty interchangeable. It's pretty much the same thing every day though, but pretty much like along those lines. And then on top of that, I have like a little task list too, like on my phone, whether it's like shit that me and Jacob do.
Yeah.
Like if he's like, I need you to send me these pictures or I need you to do this, like that's all on a list, or I got to go to the bank or all that kind of stuff. So I usually have 5 main tasks like that, and I'll have a short list of little tasks like chores or errands and little things that we're doing or whatever it is. So like that. And as far as the monthly goals, I think we just kind of go with whatever we got planned.
Yeah.
You know?
What do we do? What do we plan?
So now we started doing like the social media calendar, right?
Yeah.
So we started doing social media posts. We're starting to schedule those because we never really did that. And he was always pushing that on me. And I kind of was whatever about it. But now I'm definitely listening to him a lot more on that. So we do that, the monthly shit. And then again, like the little tasks and the day-to-day tasks, they all kind of reflect those monthly goals. So I kind of base it around those things. But yeah, I would say that's...
And so those are all tasks that help you achieve the goal of being the highest grossing music.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, there's a difference between the power list tasks and goals. You don't want to write goals on your power list. You don't want to write a goal and say, I want to get 1,000 streams today. Yeah. Because you might not be able to cross that off. You have to write things that are attainable and that you're in control of. So I'm not even going to put, like, I wouldn't even put, let's say we're going to jump on a call with someone that day. The fact that there's a chance that might not happen, I'm not going to write that because I'm not fully in control that I can do that. Like, if someone backs out or flakes out or whatever it is, yeah, like let's say the guy couldn't do it, then I can't cross it off. So I might as well just not even put that shit. I'm only going to put things I am in control of. So I'm able to sing, I'm able to dance, I'm able to do some shit on SoundCloud or whatever it is. Like, I'm able to do all that shit on my own. So you got to put things that are in your control and that are tasks, not goals. Like, I'm not gonna put to be the best artist I can be today. Like, how do you attain that? You gotta it's gotta be like attainable. It's gotta have a gauge. So
I think some of my goals, like, well, obviously I have a huge goal of just the overarching goal is I want to be a very, very, very influential person in the music industry. I just want to be someone who, like, you talk about the music industry or whatever, it's like Jacob Moore. Cool. Jacob Moore. Another goal I have is I want to have a shitload of money. I want to have and I want to have so much money that I can alleviate in the best ways that I can any problems that come my way, and I can focus on the real problems. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because they're you know, obviously money doesn't buy you happiness, but it gives you the ability
it does, but
it gives you the ability to put yourself into positions where you are happy, right? If I can make $100K a year and I can pay off my entire credit card, that makes me happy. Having the money doesn't make me happy. Using it for particular things makes me happy. So I want to, go ahead.
Here's my take on money, if it can provide happiness or not.
Yeah.
I think that, yes, money buys happiness, but I also think that it can buy false happiness too.
Okay.
I think that it can buy you delusional happiness. So if someone is shopping on Rodeo Drive and has bought a new Lamborghini and shit, yeah, that's maybe temporary. You're gonna be happy about that shit, but that, to me, that's false happiness. Because if you think that those things are gonna fuel your happiness for the rest of your life, you're lost. So I think that if you have money, that you can go one of two ways. You can go into that that false superficial side, which can be a delusion for you and can take you downhill actually, or you can use it to alleviate your stress and to feed your family and to like, you know, to like those kind of things. So I think that you can go one of two ways once you have money, but that's my thing on it.
Yeah.
Or you can, I mean, you can have both too. I mean, I'm not saying like you don't buy a Lamborghini and shit, because I'm definitely want that too.
Yeah.
But like just know like what means what, you know?
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I think money buys you it buys you happiness, but it can't buy you fulfillment.
Yes.
Right. You won't feel fulfilled by the things that you do with that money. I think
you put it better.
I think experiences fulfill you. Like like if I have a shitload of money, I can pay for my family to go on a 3-week vacation to Hawaii. Being able to use that money to pay for that vacation and having the money isn't what makes me happy. Sitting on the beach, drinking a Mai Tai with my family, enjoying life is what makes me happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's the things that money can bring you. So I want a fuckload of money so that I can give to charity. I can invest in businesses that are starting up. I can pay off, you know, so-and-so's bill or whatever who's been very good to me, and I can take pride in knowing like, hey, I helped that person. So money is just a medium. It's a tool.
A resource, yeah.
It's a resource. The tool isn't going to make you happy, but what you can do with it is going to make you happy. So that's a goal that I have. I want to become a really good guitarist, dude.
Nice.
And I still play every single day. Like, I just take pride in the fact that like I love being a musician. I feel like I don't meet a lot of other like musicians too, which is kind of weird, because we live in a very like artsy, creative, you know, culturally relevant place like SoCal. Like a lot of stuff comes out of SoCal, you know. So I want to become a really good guitarist because it makes me happy when I can come home at the end of the day and fucking shred and play guitar. It feels good. Those are some of the goals that I have. And then to like achieve some of that, like my power list is pretty much the same thing every day. I do one thing music manager related, whether that's run an ad campaign, whether that is try to network with a particular person via Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever it is, or reach out to a magazine or a venue or whatever it is. And then I read one chapter of a book. Read one chapter of a book. I'm drawing a blank. I do this shit every day too.
Eat a piece of fruit.
Yeah, eat a piece of string cheese. No, exercise and stretch, some sort of exercise. That could be like playing tennis, going to the skate park. That could be lifting weights and benching and doing shit, plus stretch. So that's like 2 or 3 things or whatever. And then, I do something music manager related. And then I do something like day job related, because I have a day job. I work, I write copy and different written content for businesses, which is pretty awesome. I work from home, and so I work with businesses like all over the globe, writing, creating written content for them, about pages, press releases, home pages, all types of written shit. So I do that. So I always try to put like some sort of goal, like, because to me that's like my money maker, quote unquote, you know. So I'm like, okay, how can I kill it in my day job today to make some good money and provide these clients really good value? So that's my shit, and it's all related to like my overall goals of wanting to make money, be a better guitarist and stuff. And I put musical goals on my power list and shit too. But man, the goals are important, man. But I'm glad we're on the same page right here on everything. You know what I'm saying?
What's in your mind for you and for I? I'm trying to decide from the look in your eyes, yeah.